Hello and welcome to Azarmorph Play. No, I'm not playing something, I'm actually going out to build a Millennium Falcon. We've got a couple of models sitting on the desk from Lego here. We've got the little tiny little Millennium Falcon here. I'm trying to get my fingers in the way there. The tiny little Millennium Falcon, isn't it cute? By Lego. We won't be building that. This is not a before and after. This is a bigger version from Lego, as you can see. Quite pleased with this model, actually. And that's something you can leave in the comments. If you want to see me build Lego models, please put it in the comments. I'm more than happy to do so. And here's a Han Solo Lego figure. Now, we all know what size Lego figures are, so we'll be using Mr. Han Solo, aka Harrison Ford, as an example. And by the way, all the best to Harrison Ford after his accident with his plane. Let me just remove the Lego Millennium Falcon because they were just introduction pieces and they're out of the way. Now, this model here is from, the model we're going to be building is from this company here. I'm trying to get the lighting right in the focus light. It's by D'Agostini. Correct me if I've got that wrong. But D'Agostini have released a weekly magazine that's slowly but surely going to build the Millennium Falcon over a period of, I expect, 2 years. So this is a 2-year project. Now, we are currently up to issue 13, I believe it is. I've built a couple, but I've taken them apart, and we're now going to be doing this together because I put feelers out about a month ago to people that do watch my channel and on Facebook, etc., to Twitter, etc. And the feedback came back quite positive that yes, people would like to see this being built online and watch my progress as we go through. So hence, we're now beginning to make it. It took a little bit of time to pull everything together because I've not actually made one of these types of videos before. So hopefully with your support and constructive feedback, we can improve this channel as we go. I say channel, but I'm probably going to put this on my gaming one initially. And then, if it's successful, I'll drop it on its own channel so that we can be quite focused on that. But the initial release will be on my own channel for now. So this is the series. As I say, it is weekly. I am subscribed, so I don't get it weekly, I get it every 4 weeks. A nice little box comes through the post with my issues in it. So far, I've been quite impressed with the model. And I guess another reason why I've held off filming it is that D'Agostini ran a set of these, I think it was about a year ago. And it got up to about issue 9, and then they stopped it because it was a trial. So I wasn't sure if they were going to go beyond, but now we're up to, I've got the latest pack in. It has taken me 4 issues beyond, so it's time to get making. So what I'm now going to do is show you the size of this model. Well, in fact, you've been looking at it all the way along. This isn't just a poster, it is a poster. First and foremost, this is a poster. Nice big blue poster that you get when you get your first edition. But it's not just a poster, it's a blueprint. This is the actual size because it is a 1-to-1 scale. Yes, you're right, a 1-to-1 scale of the model used in Star Wars. So it's an exact replica. Well, I say exact replica, it's a replica. It's of the same size. And it'll be as close as we can get, really. What they're proposing is that any model can build this. I agree with that to a point. I do agree with that to a point. However, I feel that if you have got the skills as a model painter, you'll be able to enhance this model. We'll cover that later, but I have to be very candid about this because I'm looking to build this vanilla at the moment with a possibility of decorating, or should I say painting, elements at a later date. However, I do have to watch because I know at least 2 people that come straight to mind whose painting skills far outstrip mine by a mile, and you both know who you are, Mr. Ramon and Mr. Chris. So there we go. Anyhow, I might drop links as we go on to their websites at a later date. Now, this is the reason why I've left Mr. Dude in, because as we say, we know the size of these figures, so you can actually see the size of the beast that we're going to be playing with. Now, I'm going to flip the plan over, because I do call it a plan. And just want to make sure I get it the right way. So if I flip it over and bring it down to the front, there we go, like that. Sure. This is a 1-to-2 scale, so this is half the scale size. And what you're looking at here is, at the bottom of the picture, is the interior. So this is the interior that we're going to get with the model. So we've got the corridor to the cockpit, corridor, the area where they played the chess, and Luke Skywalker learned to use his lightsaber with Sir Alex Guinness, i.e. Obi-Wan Kenobi, in here, which is really good. And as you can see, it's inlaid here, this light blue area here, which you can't see the detail. By the way, when we get to the issue 1 in this this episode, I will drop the camera in so you can see some more of the detail. This is just to show you the blueprint, really. When we zoom in on this, these are all the metal parts, because there are metal parts to this. This is the subframe of the upper level, and these are the plates of the upper level. So if I just tip that a little bit forward, you can see a little bit more there. Obviously, again, not much detail, but when we get closer in onto the issues, we'll cover that up. And then if I bring it up, then we've got the underside of the beast. Again, it's highlighting where the corridor and the chest area, etc. is. These red strips that we're seeing here is shown at the bottom, which you can't see this, but there we go. They are the radial stiffening ribs, so these will give it extra support, so that's quite good. They've thought that through, because it's obviously going to be quite a heavy model by the time it's finished. And then we've got the plating again with the position of the ramp. Now there's 2 video links I'm going to put in this episode. Number 1 will be the advertisement that comes along with this model. I entrapped my good self, so I'll put a link in there, so if you want to see the advertisement of the model, and you actually get to see it in its near enough final states as the child and his father are putting things together. I've got that right, I'll have to watch the advert again. And over here we've got the position of the ramp. Again, I'm going to put an episode in there because it shows you that we have actually got electronics. We've also got lights in this model, so it's all quite exciting stuff. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm now going to drop the camera, reposition it so we get a bit of a close-up and we can have a look at the parts in issue 1. Just before I do that, I do want to cover off how I'm going to record this. At the moment, I'm planning, even though I get 4 issues, 4 issues a month, I'm going to, in a lump sum as it were, I'm going to be recording 1 issue per video. So they're going to be short range videos, because I don't want to have half an hour, 45-minute videos, because it just doesn't seem to sit right with me. So I thought short ones, so you guys can we'll just keep the flow going, and I think that should be about right. So 1 a week is what I'm proposing at the moment. What I might do is initially try and, if you think the format of what I'm doing is right, then what I'll do is I might ramp it up to 2 a week until we catch up, and then you're up at the same level as I am with the issues I've got in front of me. But I can tell you the last, I'm looking at them now, 8 the issues have not even been opened yet, so we'll do that together. Right, so I'll be right back with a close-up of issue 1. And this is not issue 1. No, it's not. This is a book I've pulled off my shelf to allow me to show you some of the smaller details on a darker background. Funny enough, it's quite poignant, I feel, this book that we're going to use for that details, once I get the light from the ceiling out of the way. As you can see here, we've got the young George Lucas surrounded by models from the Star Wars series. I don't believe it's this Millennium Falcon that we're going to use, because it's got a slightly raised back, which you can't see in the cup now, slightly raised back on the Millennium Falcon there, but it also doesn't have a satellite dish. Up here, we do have a smaller, but I say smaller, it's the same size, but it's just back. It's got the satellite dish and the lower back, so I've got a feeling it's that one. If not, it could be this one, resting on R2-D2's head. So yes, this one looks more like it with the radar dish, etc. Besides some of the model creators that were on, one of my favourite models, the AT-AT. So I'll be looking to do that at a future date. But anyway, look at that. Millennium Falcon resting on top of R2-D2. Who'd have thunk it? Anyway, this book that I've pulled off the shelf is the Industrial Lights and Magic, which is the company that made that George Lucas made to support all these Star Wars films and other science fiction films and other films full stop. Book made by Thomas G. Smith. So there we go. So as you can see, it gives me a nice black background. Put my teeth back in. But there we go. So let's get down to the crux of it, and that is issue 1. Ta-da! There we go, issue 1. This comes with the model components and gives you a basic overview. It's not that thick a magazine, as you can see, but it doesn't need to be. They focus of this, of course, is down to making the model, but it's nice that they give you some material to go along with it. I've read some of them, and I will be reading them as I go through it. I'm not going to focus too much on this and the magazines. I'll cover a few key points out of it maybe, but I'm not going to cover them in too major detail because A, it's part of the product that we're buying. But unless you guys want to see something in specific, then you can let me know. If for example, if something comes up on the AT-AT, would you can you show us it? I'll show you it. But the focus is on the model predominantly, but I'll go back, I think. Fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy, said by Han Solo. There he is, Harrison Ford as Han Solo. And just a honorary mention to Sir Alec Guinness, seeing I'm a Scotsman. Very good actor. Here we go. We've got a gun unit. This is the kind of stuff they show in it. It's so far very Millennium Falcon. You've got the funny that really. You've got the seat with the firing mechanism, the gun, and the access tube, all shown there in detail. But this is the point I wanted to get to. Is actually about the subscription that I've now signed up for, and that was going to supplies the material for this series. As you can see here, this is £8.99 UK. It's not euros or dollars, it's £8.99. The first issue you get is at a reduced rate because it's obviously the hook to get you in. Once you sign up though, you do get some free gifts. First free gift is that you get issue 3 free. And then the second gift you get is a Millennium Falcon t-shirt, which is actually quite a good t-shirt, I do have to say. I don't think I'll get, in fact I won't be modelling, and I don't think I'll get my good lady to model it, because even though she did some modelling when she was younger, I don't think she'll want to do it now. I'll try and convince her, but no, I don't think it'll work. Anyway, third gift is a Millennium Falcon folder. This is again something you'll have to consider within the costs, because the first one's free, but then you're going to need to buy some more because of the volume of magazines. Fourth delivery, you get a Han Solo, and I actually have that right now. It's in a white box waiting to be opened, and we'll probably cover that off with, well, we're at issue 13, so it'll be 12, 11. Issue 10 we'll probably cover off Han Solo. So that's one to look forward to. And then the final gift comes at the end of the collection, where you can do a wall-mounted unit and hang the Millennium Falcon off that wall-mounted unit. Me, personally, I won't be doing that. I'll probably put it in a container, a display case, because if I woke up in the morning and found that in bits on the floor, I think that would break my heart. So total cost for this model's about £900 to £1,000. From what I understand, if I was wanting to go out and buy a model of a similar quality, because this is supposed to be good quality model, but out to buy a model of a similar quality, we would be talking about £1,000 plus. So it's an investment in something I'm really up for, because it's the building element I'm looking forward to as well. But as you can see from the magazine, we're on to Tatooine here. They do cover other things like sister ships of the Millennium Falcon and things like that. So it's all quite good, and I'm enjoying them. I've got to say, I'm enjoying the magazine, which is good. And then we get on to the build. Now I'm going to cut here because I've found that at the moment, for some reason, even though I've got tons of storage space on my hard drive, the webcam system I've got doesn't seem to want to go over 10 minutes. And I've gone through so many recordings and it's ridiculous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, and then we'll come right back to filming this. So if you bear with me. And so, the crux of this episode we get to, which is the model itself and the components therein. What we've got here is got 1, 2 and 3 are the cockpit. We've then got the gun. We've then got frame of the upper hull. And we've got the first element of the hull itself, the outer hull plating. So what we're going to start off with is we're going to start off with the cockpit. And the first piece of the cockpit is going to be the bottom of the cockpit. Let's get that up there so you can see some of the detail. It's got the central console, and it's also got 4 nibs. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Those are for seats, and we'll get to the seats in a minute. And we've also got holes here, which I believe are for control, will be for control units on the side, because it's a glass canopy over the top of it. And then at the bottom here, you've got the parts which link into the next element, which is the back panel of controls. Now this actually is item 1 is actually a sticker, and item 2 is the back plate the sticker goes onto. Now I'll be honest, I'm not going to. You've missed me using lots of blue language when I put the sticker on. I've got to be honest. I put this on about 3 times to get it aligned with the door correctly, and that's the finished product. Now I've got to say the sticker quality is very good. It's got a nice little texture to it. It's quite thick, and as you can see, quite forgiving, because you wouldn't really know that I've put it on 3 times, which is really quite good. But here's the interesting part of this whole piece. If I flip it over, you'll see the white at the back here. Now you might have seen a little impression on there, but you've got the white here. Now the white is the back of the sticker, because in a later edition we get lights, we get LEDs I believe, which sit in behind here and create the lights on the control panel, and I think that'll look quite smart. So I'm looking forward to building that with you, but and going forward with this, because there are lights in it. So now what we're going to do is we're now going to build the first part on camera, and as I say, basic model skills. There you go. The sticker's the hardest part of this part of the build. Once you get that done, the rest's all pretty straightforward as you would expect. So there you go, nice and easy. Not using glue. I won't be using glue till the last minute on this model build, because, as I say, we'll have to have a conversation about painting it. I don't want to get decorating from at the moment. But there you go. So that's the first piece. I'll put it there, which is slightly off camera. Let's just put it there. Because the next piece I want to talk about is the outer hull plating. Here we go. I actually think this is actually good quality. I do have one concern, as shared by my fellow collectors. There is a forum on the manufacturer's website for the Millennium Falcon, and others share the same concern as I, that this is good as it is at the moment, but the problem we might have with it is that going forward, the batches, can the colours be matched in the batches? And that's the difficulty, because I know from experience in the construction industry that you could have 2 wall panels side by side, made this exactly the same way, but because they're in a different batch, they're slightly different colour. So that's the concern with this, that as we go through the project, if the batch colours change, then the plates will look this different. I guess there's an argument to that the Millennium Falcon is a lot of salvage on it, so it probably won't all look the same colour anyhow. But there are people out there talking already that if it changes, they might just spray the whole model and redo all the detail on it. So again, it's more like the experienced painters out there. So I might be knocking on some friends' doors. But still, there we go. I think it's good. It's good quality plastic. It's not thin. It's quite thick. We've got mountings in here for the metalwork. We're actually got, I'll show you a piece going in a second when you do that. It's got some nice smoky finishes on it, and I quite like it. As long as I can keep this up, that'll be good. The proof will be in the pudding. Now, I've just realised I was going to mention something about the seats, by the way. Again, this is about the decoration. So if we go back, here's when I told you about the little nibs within the, that is actually a build-up of the control. You can see there's a control panel there. There's the seats in here, and then there are people talking about these seats because they're reddish brown. And people are saying that they're going to paint them cream. So there's that's what I'm saying, that we're going to keep it vanilla at the moment. I'm not going to paint those at the moment, so we're keeping the vanilla at the moment. Right. Carrying on, the next parts we're going to look at is 11 and 12, which are the whole framework. Now let's see if I can show you this. It might not focus in, it might. Oh, look at that, I did. TFO2. TFO2. Remember that number, TFO2. Because what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to bring out the plan. And, by the way, this is TP01, which is there. TP01, TP01. So you can see it's 1 to 2 scale on the plan compared to the parts. So if I grab these 2 bits of metal out, slide this along. This is TFO2, which is TF2 here, and this is TF1. Again, I'm going to trans my arm. It's not something I'll do often as this, because as you can see here, that's part of the problem, is you can't get it in the wooden focus. People can't see. But that is TF01. So TF01 fits like so. TF2, if I can get this right, is that right? That looks right. Will fit in like so. So those 2 will go together there, and I've got a feeling that there is by these cuts that are in the metalwork there, I'm thinking that there's plates to go in there to join them together, so that's all good. Now if we could keep TFO2, because this sits directly over the top of it, I'm sure that I've got that right. Yep, there we go. So as you can see, whoop, there we go, I've put it, get it back into shot. As you can see here, if I just take it apart again, it slots nicely into there, and that is part of the framework together. So that gives it its support, you see. Good. So that is the initial parts of the hull. But the real crux of it, and the reason why I've got the book, I'll put this out of the way, is the gun. Now we've got, I'm going to flick over to the gun itself for the manufacturer. You've got the key components here, which is the gun, barrels, central unit, shields, and mounting, 4 screws, and then it shows how to put the model together. Now what I'm going to do is just slide this off in my direction for the moment. So there's the mount, there's the carcass in 2 parts, here's the shields, so the next parts, you just slide that there we go, and then you've got your 4 guns. Come, oh, don't you roll off. I've got them to the one side, you see, and there you go, 4 gun barrels. And then I've put one of these screws away already because I don't want to lose them. Because you actually get 4 screws with the pack. There's the 3 screws. So hence why I've used the black background, because you would never see them on the blueprint, even on the magazine or on this tablecloth. So these are the parts, and what we're going to do is we're going to put these together now. As I am conscious that we're getting on with time, and I don't want these to be overly long. So well, let's get on with building this. As I say, with this, you don't get the screwdriver until issue 2, but I've got one of my own. You need quite a small sized screwdriver for this because the screws are quite small. Now, let me see if I can remember how to build this properly. He says with the instructions right beside him. Grab the wall. We're going to grab this mount, and yes, it's that way around. These are quite difficult because what you've got, if I can show you on camera, is one of the carcasses has 2 little nibs in it, one there and one there, for the flat or the back of one of these shields. So they sit within that. And that's not the only thing. They sit within that groove, if I get the angle right so you can see what I'm talking about. So they lift that out, there's the groove, and then put that in. Oop, he says, put that in like so, so it's flush. But then you've got the hole to deal with. And the wonderful thing about the hole is that these long strands of the mount go through. So it's a bit difficult. So let's get on and try and do our best with this. So we put that in like that and that in like that. And then slide this in. Hopefully I'm not blocking the view with my massive fingers. There we go. And there you go. So we're in. That wasn't too bad, was it? With the shielding of the gun in place around the mount. Then I take the next part and I'll just drop that on top as quickly as I can. And that's nice and flush. So you can see it's flush at the back and reasonably flush at the front. So the next thing to do is drop the screws in and start to screw this one together. There you go. That's one in. Just about. Come on, bind, bind, bind. There we go. The only thing I'm conscious of is if I screw this in too tight, it might stop the movement. So I'm going to screw them in tight and then check the movement. It feels a little bit stiff, if I'm honest, but that's probably because I've gripped a bit too hard down on it. And then the next screw's in. And then we have a little bit of a grip, but I'm not too worried about that because it probably gives me a good bit of positioning. And then simply with these barrels, he says simply as he throws everything around, simply with the barrels you just slot them in. Now these have been quite loose. They will need gluing in, but again there is a bit of work to be done on them, and I think if I've got one here that will show that. There is a bit of work to be done on them even though they come pre-finished. If I want to show you, it depends on this is focusing or not. There we go, it's focusing in now. You can just tell, this might not be one of the worst ones, but there's flashing on this. A little bit of flashing, I don't know if that's picking that up. But there's a little bit of flashing on it, which will need to be sanded off. And again, this should be a white gun with blemishes on it, smoke blemishes. But still, I think that looks quite nice. So again, there's our next piece that we've built, which is the actual gun that will go into the canopy. Pew, 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 pew. We've got to do that. And there we go. So I have tried to go quickly through this episode, I'll be honest, because I knew there was a lot to capture in it. But hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you think this is going to be a series that you'll want to watch. Obviously, please leave comments. And if you would be so kind, leave a like, because that does help me, but I'm not going to push the matter. I'll just remind you the choice is completely yours. And I'll get on with, we'll get on with the next episode. And we'll just carry on going through it. So, I'd just like to thank you for your time for watching today. Hope you've enjoyed it. And until next time, what am I going to say? Normally I say boys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe. But I think for this, I'll say fly safely. As we would fly in a Millennium Falcon. Anyway, take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you soon.